In this video, I'm going to be installing this intake manifold on a 1.8T Audi or Volkswagen. I just finished powder coating this. It turned out really nice. Powder coating is a really great way to not only protect things, but also make them look a lot nicer. Powder coat, it's a lot better than paint. Paint tends to chip where powder coat stretches a little bit more. It flexes with the metal and it has a really good bond. Whenever we put in the intake manifold, just remember that there's this support here and this bolts on right here. It's easy to forget about. So this slides on with two studs right there and the rest are screws. So it just holds itself in place with those two studs. And then the oil dipstick slides in between the two middle ones, just like that. You always want to check your gaskets. The top one here is an example of one that's good. There's no blow-throughs through the gasket, but if we look here at this one, right there, it's down to the metal, and air would be able to either go out or in through here, which would cause unmetered air and a lot of different errors. So you want to make sure you have a good gasket. These screws are 5mm hex. There's 8 screws and then 2 bolts, one on this stud and one on the stud. We're going to torque the intake manifold bolts to 7.5 foot-pounds. The electronic torque wrench is kind of nice because it gives you a reading of what your actual torque is, and then as you get closer it starts to beep, and then once you get your torque it gives you a different right there. It's nice to know how close you're getting to the actual torque. And now we'll attach that support bracket that's underneath it. And we'll snug this up. Now we'll go ahead and install the throttle body, and it's held on by 4 bolts. These are a 5mm hex. And now we'll torque these 7.5 foot-pounds. Now we'll install the MAF sensor, the mass airflow sensor. Now we'll just snug that up. Now we'll go ahead and connect the throttle. This is connected right to your accelerator pedal, and it's held on by 2 10mm bolts. Now this goes underneath the manifold, and there's actually a cutout there for it. And then on this throttle body, it wraps underneath here, and then there's these 2 clips that it clips into, and then up here on top, put top in first, and then click it down in place and then push it in there. It's a little tricky to get everything in at once, but once it is in, you can see that's what controls your throttle and opens up the intake. Now we'll attach cruise control, which just pushes right up into this diaphragm, and then that's locked in place. And now we'll put on the air hose. And now we'll snug up the hose clamp, make sure everything seals nicely. Now we'll go ahead and put on our piping. And we'll go ahead and tighten these up. And now we'll plug in our sensors, one on the throttle body. And now we'll put on the mass airflow sensor. And underneath the intake is one more hose. This one's an easy one to forget about. Now we'll attach our plumbing. This one is for the turbo, and there's one more on the other side. So that's how you install an intake manifold and a throttle body on a 1.8T.